for new graduates coming into video games. So I got asked a question by a student who will soon be graduating this year, fall of 2025. And she is an engineering student and wants to know how she should prepare herself for a career in game development. Um, she's a computer science major and wants to know the best way to set herself up for success in the job market. Um, she says, I've heard internships are good, game projects and game jams can help, but where should I focus my efforts? Thank you all so much. So my answer, I'm not an engineer, so I don't really, I can't come at the answer from that side of the space. I'm I'm on the art side, but I can tell you from working in video games for, gosh, over a decade, more than that maybe. Um, yeah, right now it's pretty tough in video game land. Uh, a lot of studios have shuttered, and there are a lot of people looking for work. The last time I clicked on an application for a job, it showed over 1,000 applicants on LinkedIn. That's pretty sobering. If you haven't watched my previous video, it was pretty somber. Because I've been feeling pretty somber lately. My studio shut down, just like a lot of other studios, and I am one of many, many thousands of people, obviously, looking for work in video games. So when I read this, I thought, oh man, um, my first thought was do something else. But I think that somebody who has a passion for making video games and has gone to school and has done all that, I think that's amazing. And I congratulate anybody in that position because it's difficult. It is a lot of hard work to graduate, to go to school and do all of that. So that's amazing. Right now, it's 11/18/2025. Uh, Video games are, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. So my advice um, would be that it's always a good idea to have an in. You know, I think that's probably fairly obvious. If you know someone that works at a video game studio, or you know someone who knows someone, that's always a good thing. It's always better to have a firsthand, if you have a friend who works at a studio, that's great. If you know someone who knows someone, that's not as great because it's like, well, now they're going to have to, your friend's going to have to ask them and they're going to be like, well, So if you have an in, that's wonderful. Talk to them, say, hey, look, I'll do anything. I'll intern, whatever. You got to get your foot in the door. That's the first, that's kind of job one. Like I say, right now tons of people are getting laid off, so it's difficult for anybody to get their their foot in the door, even if they've got 20 years of experience. But you know, once you get your foot in the door, you can kind of learn how a production works, and um, who knows? The more people the more chances you have of getting a job. I mean, that's just the truth. Sending out resumes and all of that, I mean, that's great, but you're competing with, like I said, if the position has 1,000 applicants, those are the people you're competing with. If they know somebody there, they're going to have a better chance of getting the job. That's just the way it is. Um, if you don't have an in, you don't know somebody, LinkedIn's great. Send people, connections. It's a good way to at least try to. I hate this word network. I think I think it's an awful word, but That's what they call it. But if you see somebody, I personally, the way that I did it when I was starting out, this is before LinkedIn, this is before YouTube, this is I'm old. I saw somebody's work that I really admired, and I basically sent them an email, and I was like, look, I think your work is fantastic, and I would love it if you could check out some of my stuff. And that's kind of how I started talking to him. I wasn't really trying to angle for a job. That wasn't my goal. And I think people can kind of pick up on that if that's all you're doing, because there's a lot of people that do that, and it's understandable. I mean, that's what you want. You want to get a job, but I think for me, and what worked for me, is just to seek out people that are of like mind, seek out people that you might actually be friends with, yeah, I mean, if somebody lives near you or around you that does some work that you admire, see if you can meet them. Just ask them, say, hey, look, I'd love to take you out for lunch, or I'd love to, pick your brain, whatever. That's to me, that's the best way to do it. As an engineer, I don't know what it's like to look at someone else's code, and if I don't know if it's the same thing as an artist. So maybe that's kind of useless for artists, or excuse me, for engineers. And if it is, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm not an engineer, so I don't really know. But I imagine there's got to be some kind of translation there. There's got to be, like you see somebody write a particular app or whatever, and you admire that, or somebody works an engineer. You're looking to get in video games. Somebody works on a particular video game, and you're like, hey, that's I think the best way to do it is to really be yourself. Don't try to angle for a job. Just tell them, hey, look, I love your work, and I'm starting out, and I'd love to get any of your, whatever advice you can give me would be great. And if I can take you to lunch, that would be great. Face to face is I think a lost thing nowadays. It really is. And if it's possible for you to get face to face with somebody, I think that's a great idea. It's just better, than a screen. But if all you have is a screen, that's fine. There's I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, I think, in my personal opinion, all of these things, by the way, are my personal opinion. I think that that's a good way to do it. Aside from that, if you just want to cold call, or cold email, cold apply, Glassdoor.com, I think is an excellent resource for you. All it is reviews of people who have actually worked at whatever studio you're looking to work for, and it's not just video games. I think it's a bunch of other companies as well. But it gives you a good idea of the type of environment you might be working in, and whether or not you actually want to work for that company. Because if you're looking to get an intern job or an entry-level job, some studios are better than others, quite frankly. Some of them are just not very good to their employees, and some of them are much better to their employees. So check out Glassdoor.com, and that's another good resource. And I think that's really all I have to say on that. I wish whoever's in this position, I wish you all the luck in the world. I hope that things work out wonderfully for you. And, as somebody who's currently laid off, and I've been working in video games for, I don't know, 18 years? I don't even know. A long time. Yeah, I hope things turn around, and I hope that, it gets to a point where, companies are coming to you. But right now, like I said, it's difficult. So just keep your head up and do your best, and good luck to you. And that's really all I have. want to talk about this art right now, like I did in my first video. I'm going to do this in every video because I think it's important to recognize people's work. This is Dawnbringer Soraka. I think that's just the name. I don't know if that's a video game or not, but I have no idea. And I'm not sure who made it. It looks like somebody that is probably of an Asian country, like maybe Chinese. I'm not sure. I don't know how to read that, but I think that's an amazing image. So good luck to you guys. God bless, and I'll see you on the next one.